Everything will be decided in today's deliberation. Kay's innocence. I will definitely prove it. I really want to see, like, Judge on the PIC. I know he's probably not. He's too busy handling every case. Alright, there's a big group of people here.
10 members are present. The quorum has been met. From here on out, let the council begin. Today's deliberation shall be about Miles Edgeworth's aptitude and ability as a prosecutor. Let our members discuss this matter with a clear conscience of the goddess of law.
A clear conscience? Don't make me laugh.
Courtney, please give us your report.
On April 5th, Prosecutor Edgeworth carried out an illegal investigation and resisted arrest. He was arrested by 2 of our members who caught him in the act, myself and Blaze the Best. Prosecutor Edgeworth disrupted the investigation of attorney Jill Crane's murder. He claims that the culprit, Kay Faraday, was arrested without sufficient evidence. Even now, his claim remains unchanged.
Tell us more about the murder incident.
On April 5th, the victim's body was found here in the PIC meeting room. Regarding the details, I, Sebastian the best prosecutor, will enlighten you. The prosecutor in charge, Sebastian the Best, will explain the rest of the details. The murder happened on the night of April 4th. The victim was one Jill Crane. On the same night, a black market auction was being held in this very meeting room. Why does everything have really high prices if it's going to go to an auction? Were those just the starting bids of the items? It just occurred to me that it's weird that they have those listed and then they do an auction. Whatever, fine. I guess Mr. Crane was taking part in the auction. Yep, probably. The murder occurred in the middle of the auction, did it not? Probably. When Ms. Crane was found, she was dressed like the conductor of the auction. However, based on the fact that the auction continued after the murder occurred, I deduced that Miss Crane could not have been the conductor. I came up with that. I figured it out. I'm the best! You weren't the one who made that deduction. I have the deduce. I'm the deducer. Sebastian, please show everyone the basis for the arrest of the culprit. You got it, Justine. Kay Faraday was unable to bear the weight of her good conscience. I believe you mean her guilty conscience. Yeah, it was her guilty conscience that drove her to confess the crime. According to her confession, on the roof of this building, she met a figure in a red raincoat on the viewing platform.
So Crane was wearing a red raincoat?
Yes, that's correct. The culprit used the conductor's clothes as a red herring to mislead us. At the time of the murder, Miss Crane was wearing a red raincoat. It was I who discovered the raincoat near this building. He did. I'm sure it was the forensics team who found it. To be more precise, it was the forensics team under Sebastian's orders who discovered it. I thought as much. Fine. According to the blood analysis, the person in the red raincoat and Miss Crane were the same person. The decisive evidence is the culprit's own confession. She testified that she killed her. That's right, the culprit is Kay Faraday. It couldn't have been anyone else but her.
Well then, Edgeworth, if you have any objections, let us hear them.
Do I have my evidence? I have no objections. No, I have no evidence.
I see. Well, seems all the fire's gone out of you after your little overnight stay.
I have no objections to your claim that I investigated illegally. I admit to that. However, I object to the claim that Kay is the culprit. I will testify that Sebastian's investigation was fair and just. Of course course it was, Justine. Don't you know that I'm the fairest of them all, according to a mirror that I asked and then I told it that?
Edgeworth, my boy, despite how things may seem, I actually kind of like you. And this is just an if. You see, if you were to withdraw your objection, you might be sitting on this side of the bench tomorrow. I ask you one more time, Edgeworth, do you have any objections? Because we got a bunch, we got room for another weirdo, another weird dressing weirdo on the thing.
Don't take me for a fool. I advise you to watch what you say. This man is the one who should watch what he's saying. I'm talking about the case, not about a chair. I demand a testimony. By all means, let me hear it. I want to know how the PIC understands this case.
A testimony from us, huh? Well, fine. That's what it takes to make you happy. Courtney, give him the materials from the investigation, whatever. Let him have his crappy stuff, whatever.
Sir, but that's...
It's the end of the line for him. I'll let him go out in a blaze of glory. I like to watch it.
If you insist, Mr. Chairman.
Received evidence from Judge Courtney.
Why don't we have Courtney give the testimony?
I have no objections.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Don't worry, Kay. You just watch from over there. Watch Edgy Poo go to work.
Miss Crane went to the black market auction as a customer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for auction. We believe that she left her seat after winning the bid for it.
That actually kind of makes sense.
The only exit from the storeroom is the hatch that leads to the viewing platform. Miss Crane went out to the viewing platform where she was attacked by Kay Faraday. That was how she met her end. And that concludes my summary of the case. The red raincoat was up for auction. Is that a fact? It is quite likely. The red raincoat had been a piece of evidence in the assassination attempt on the president of Zhang-Fa, as you well know. Originally, it should have been stored in an appropriate place. But when I asked about it, I learned that it went missing. And it somehow made its way to the black market auction. Certainly a natural conclusion.
Well done, Courtney. Your explanation is as clear as ever.
I am much obliged.
So maybe the red raincoat was around that mannequin we saw.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, will you concede defeat now?
Sorry, but I don't plan on it.
I see. I am relieved.
Relieved? What does she mean? Come to think of it, her reason for questioning me yesterday remains a mystery. Just what is she thinking? Okay.
Miss Crane went to the black market auction as a customer.
Hold it.
So you're saying that a member of the PIC was involved in illicit dealings? Regarding that, I have no response.
He's right, you know. After this hearing's over, we're gonna have to clean up our act.
A splendid decision, Mr. Chairman.
No. It's only natural. You see, there's no need to flatter me, you know. But you know, that has nothing to do with you at all, Edgeworth. Because by then, you won't even be a prosecutor anymore, you see? Well, now, this tearful business has been cleared up.
Yes, sir, I will continue. The red raincoat was one of the items up for auction.
This is something I'm suspicious of, but I'm not sure how to prove it.
So the red raincoat was up for auction. Yes, it had belonged to Shelley the Killer.
Based on the circumstances, we must consider that it was an item up for auction, you see?
That was what he wore when he targeted the president of Zhengzhou. There was a mannequin that was positioned unnaturally amongst the auction goods. That may have been where the red raincoat had been on display.
But why didn't it have a price, if so?
Do you know how the goods were procured? We're currently investigating it, but it's none of your concern, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Soon, you'll be nothing more than an ordinary individual, and then you'll be finished.
It seems the results of this deliberation have already been decided. Enough about me, please continue your testimony.
Since the raincoat had been up for auction, we believe that she left her seat after winning the bid for it.
Hold it!
Why would the victim immediately leave her seat? That had to do with how the auction was conducted. It seems that after the winning bid, the winner was required to pay for the item immediately.
That matches up with Miss Hart's testimony.
We believe that Miss Crane paid her bid for the raincoat and then immediately tried to leave the auction. The only exit from the storeroom is the hatch that leads to the viewing platform.
Hold it!
The victim was the PIC member. Couldn't she have also just left from the meeting room? If she had done so during the auction, then its existence would have been revealed to the public.
Since Miss Hart knew about it, it seems the cat is already out of the bag.
The customers were required to enter and exit from the hatch. Miss Crane was simply following protocol. Considering where the murder took place, she must have tried to leave through there. Miss Crane went out to the viewing platform when she was attacked by Kay Faraday.
Hold it!
Why would Kay do such a thing? We intend to question her about that later.
Later? That seems to be your favorite time for interrogations.
If the culprit was aware that the customers were required to exit from the hatch, it would have been easy to lie in wait for an ambush. Miss Crane was attacked when she was leaving the hatch.
No! If she was attacked in the viewing platform, why was the blood inside the actual room? We're gonna press this last statement, and I actually think that's where we get them from first. I don't think the red raincoat was actually for sale. Maybe it was, I don't know. It was Shelley the Killer's.
Met her in? What do you mean by that? She passed away, or to be more precise, she was murdered.
Objection!
The candelabra was one of the items in the auction. Therefore, Kay should not have been able to get her hands on it. If she was able to lie in wait for the attack, then she must have known about the storeroom. If she sneaked into the storeroom during the auction, she could have obtained it.
No, we only had someone to know for sure where the candelabra was during the entire auction, you know? How about it?
There is no such evidence. My apologies. We hope to find that evidence soon.
Edgeworth, it's too bad, you know. It seems you won't be able to use this line of attack.
The victim encountered the culprit on top of the roof and the crime occurred there. According to her reasoning, the murder took place at the viewing platform. But was that really the case? Some piece of evidence must tell the whole story behind it. I should try looking again.
So yes, that was a big hint there, in case I wasn't already on the right track. But, Miss Crane went out to the viewing platform and was attacked there. But, according to the blood on the lift, this seems to be, where the actual attack took place.
Objection!
Is it not this? Judge Courtney, could you take a look at this piece of evidence?
I'm afraid I cannot accept that piece of evidence. I do not believe it has any relation to my testimony.
It absolutely does. Ah! As I expected, she's nothing like Sebastian. However, I won't back down so easily. What else do we have? After the connected person in the storeroom, one of them suddenly started screaming. Wait. After the conductor and another person into the storeroom, one of them suddenly started screaming. So maybe that's our location thing. I kind of want to try this photograph. Because it seems more conclusive about the attack timing. Yeah, okay. I was close, but we needed more decisive evidence. Judge Courtney, I've found it to be strange for a while now. Why is Miss Hart here with us? She's an eyewitness to this case. Isn't it only natural for her to be in attendance? Oh, shucks. I reckon I'm more of an ear witness than an eyewitness. Heh, it seems that gaining the trust of others isn't your strong point, Judge Courtney. Perhaps I simply do not wish to be as tactless as you. It appears you have failed to get the witness to tell you the most vital information. Please look at this photo. This was taken by Miss Hart. This photo seems to have been taken in the storeroom. And what of it? According to your reasoning, the incident took place on the viewing platform. However, Miss Hart encountered the incident in the storeroom. That's right, it had taken place just before this photo was taken. Wait! If that's true, then Jacine's reasoning... Exactly. It does not hold up. What? Miss Hart, allow me to ask you again. You saw the person in the photo with your own eyes, correct? I sure did. I seen him plain as day with my own 2 eyes. And what did you think at the time? I figured I was about to get me a big scoop. You know, a scoop. I guess that makes sense. Ahem. That's not what I meant. What did you think of that person? Huh? Well, I reckon she'd help me bring home the bacon. Are you mocking me? Ah, shucks, don't make that scary old face. It was just a harmless little joke. The person in the red raincoat, I reckon they were the culprit. I hope you understand now. The crime occurred in the... Prosecutor Edgeworth, I cannot understand your argument if you do not say it out loud. I was in the middle of saying it out loud and you overruled me. If you'd simply asked, I would have been more than willing to explain. Explain what? The sound Miss Hart heard may not necessarily be related to the case.
Objection!
That is impossible. Enough of your excuses. Was the voice that Miss Hart heard really that of Miss Crane? Such a shady conversation must have had something to do with the case. What did her voice sound like? Her voice? Well, it beats me. How was I supposed to know? They were both using voice changers. Yes, the voice Miss Hart heard had been altered by a device. We must therefore question whether or not they have any bearing on this case.
Objection!
Humph. You need not object just because you wish to sigh. Judge Courtney, it seems I have greatly overestimated you.
No, Courtney's quite amazing, you see.
You claim that the sounds of Miss Hart heard have no bearing on this case. Even if they do not, it doesn't change the fact that the crime took place in the storeroom. At the very least, the crime must have occurred before the victim went up to the rooftop. The reason being, this evidence proves the crime occurred before the victim went up to the viewing platform. There's blood on the hands. You can see it. At first I thought the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. Well, Ms. Hart's testimony certainly made it sound that way. Precisely. It was because she saw that the person's hand was covered in blood. Anyone who heard her testimony would have arrived at the same conclusion. The person in the red raincoat was the culprit, and the blood on their hand was the victim's. However, if the person in the red raincoat was the victim, then the situation changes completely. Since blood can be seen in this photo, it must have been taken after the crime occurred. It seems you've been under the wrong impression in regard to the victim's condition. This photo shows the true condition of the victim. The victim was still alive after the attack. The victim was definitely attacked in the storeroom. Immediately afterwards, the victim was seen with blood on her hand. That must mean the victim was still alive even after she was attacked. The blood on her hand must have come from her own wound.
No way! Are you saying that she died from a hand injury? Whoa! Her hand must have had some really important vital organs in it.
No, that's not the case. I suspect she just held her hand against the wound and then moved it out to the side. You idiot. It can't be seen in the photo, but at this moment she must have already suffered a fatal wound.
Oh, that's true. It changes a lot of things, you know.
It seems you understand. This refutes the allegations against Kay. Kay encountered the victim after this picture was taken. I believe at that point in time, the victim was already on the verge of death. It's likely that Kay just happened to be present when the victim reached the end of her strength. That is quite the coincidence. Indeed, I can only say that she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Prosecutor Edgeworth, it seems you have forgotten a crucial fact.
Oh, you mean that, right? He must be pretending that he hasn't noticed it, you see?
What did you say? Are you implying that I forgot something?
Courtney, I think it's about time you gave him his last rites.
Hey, Pops! Justine's with me, you know. We're good friends and I'm helpful. Don't order her around like that!
You know, even though you're my son, you're so embarrassing.
I'm not embarrassing!
I'm sorry, but you're both rather embarrassing. I'm embarrassed on behalf of you.
Justine, give Mr. Edgeworth this,
Very well. I shall give him his last rites. Edgeworth's contradiction. Tell me, when the body was found, there were 3 wounds in Miss Crane's chest. I'm sure you're well aware what kind of wounds these were, right? Yes, she was stabbed in the heart with the 3-pronged candelabra. Is there any person who could survive such an injury? Please take a close look at the autopsy report. Can you still say the same thing after reading it?
well done, Justine. With this, Mr. Edgeworth will...
I will offer a rebuttal, of course.
Why would you do that? Didn't you hear what Justine just said? She owned you. She set you on fire and dropped you out in the middle of the ocean, which might have put out the fire, actually.
Of course I did, and I still plan to object to it.
It's not fair. You're always opposing me at every turn.
It was never my intention to oppose you.
Oh, huh? Really?
It's simply not worth my time.
I see. So that's how it is. Yep. After all,
That's enough, you know. You're embarrassing your father, you see, and if you say your last name while singing, I'm gonna cry.
Huh? What do you mean, Pops?
When the body was found, there were 3 wounds in Miss Crane's chest.
Hold it!
3 wounds? That sounds rather painful. Indeed. We must punish the culprit accordingly. Okay, do not listen to what she says. Judge Courtney, please continue your reasoning. Very well. She had 3 wounds. I'm sure you're well aware what kind of wounds these were, right?
Hold it!
Why don't you ask Sebastian instead? Of course, Sebastian knows all about it.
Huh? Me? Oh yeah, I know everything.
He's obviously lying.
Sebastian, maybe you should sneak a peek at the autopsy report, you know?
Let's see here. The fatal wound was caused by the candelabra. Oh, so that's how it was.
Then the cause of the wound was just as Sebastian said. Yes, she was stabbed in the heart with a 3-pronged candelabra.
Hold it!
So the cause of death was a stab wound to the heart. Is that correct? Yes, the candelabra pierced right into her heart. Since this was Dr. Young's medical opinion, it must be the truth. The coroner's medical opinion follows my own opinion. Therefore, it's perfect! I certainly cannot ignore the autopsy reports. However... Hey! Don't ignore my opinion! However, if the cause of death was a stab wound in the victim's chest, wouldn't it contradict that piece of evidence? Oh, he's totally ignoring me, Justine! Say something! Yes, I will not allow you to ignore my reasoning. Is there any person who could survive such an injury?
Maybe?
At the very least, we cannot be certain that she died instantly. Even if she still had a little bit of life left, I doubt she would have held on for long.
Yeah, if your heart's not beating, you're not gonna have enough energy to climb a ladder.
Can people survive after being stabbed in the chest?
In the chest, depending on what gets hit, yes. In the heart, no.
In some cases, maybe they can. Oh no, maybe they can't. I don't know anything. Huh, so in the end, which one is it? No such human exists. If you think they do, then first, please take a close look at the autopsy report. Can you still say the same thing after reading
Hold
it?
it!
According to the autopsy report, the stab wounds to the left chest caused the fatality. Correct. The autopsy report itself is the foundation for my reasoning. In other words, I just have to shatter that foundation, right? I don't find that amusing at all. I look forward to seeing you try. Nevertheless, please take a close look at the autopsy report before you make a rebuttal. Show me that your reasoning is not just mere conjecture.
Very well.
Mr. Edgeworth.
We'll be fine, Kay.
There's nothing for you to worry about. Evidence that the victim was alive after the incident. If I can just find that, Kay will be...
Alright, so she kept hinting, and I think she's hinting for me in a really nice act that I need to look at the autopsy report. Not the memories. This is the autopsy report. The victim's body was discovered in the PIC meeting room. The estimated time of death is sometimes between late last night and midnight. Cause of death was stab wounds to the chest with a candelabra. Head wound was post-mortem. Burn mark on victim's hand. But do we have a burn mark at this point? We don't know because we can't see that hand. That's really unfortunate. So I'm guessing we're going to present the autopsy, but is it at the point where she was stabbed in the heart? Because that's true, she was stabbed, but we don't know that she was stabbed yet. I'm sure you're aware what kinds of wounds these were. Is also a suspicious statement. I think I'm gonna try just... I'm not sure what the inconsistency is, but this seems to be the statement that Edgeworth had a weird reaction to, and the autopsy report has been hinted at like twice.
Objection!
It's not this.
Judge Courtney, could you take a look at this piece of evidence? I'm afraid I cannot accept that evidence. I do not believe it has any relation to the testimony.
No.
As I expected, she's nothing like Sebastian. However, I won't back down so easily. Yes, she was stabbed in the heart with a 3-pronged candelabra.
When the body was found, hey, this raincoat doesn't have a burn mark or any holes in it. If she was stabbed when she was wearing a red raincoat, shouldn't it have big holes in the front?
Judge Courtney, would you have a problem with that statement just now? Oh. Oh. Okay, I guess this wasn't it. Or was it the wrong statement? There were 3 wounds in the chest. Yes, she was stabbed in the heart. Is it? There were three wounds. 3 wounds. Maybe it's just at the wrong 3 wound statement.
Objection!
Okay. Gah! So specific! Chairman DeBest, do you know what this is?
It seems to be a red raincoat. How about it, Courtney?
The victim, Miss Crane, was wearing this earlier. Prosecutor Edgeworth, must I repeat my explanation to you all over again?
I suppose it just might come to that. Judge Courtney, answer me this. This red raincoat was stained with blood. Do you happen to remember where specifically those bloodstains were located?
Of course I do. They were on the hood. Wait, it can't be!
Huh? What does this mean?
Judge Courtney, were there any other bloodstains besides the ones on the hood?
None were detected.
Don't you think it's strange? The victim died from a stab wound to the chest. In that case, there should have been bloodstains on the front of the raincoat. And some holes in it, maybe. I guess maybe if the raincoat was like open and then just stabbed in. But yeah, you'd be bleeding everywhere. However, the only blood they found was on the hood. This is a huge contradiction. The wound on the victim's head is no ordinary wound. After all, the victim sustained this wound before she was stabbed in the chest.
It does appear that way, doesn't it? The victim first suffered the head wound. If she'd already been stabbed in the chest, the raincoat would have been stained with blood. Therefore, it is unthinkable that the chest was stabbed before she suffered the head wound. So the order of the wounds would be first the head, followed by the chest. However, does that really change the situation?
With this, a contradiction is born, one that overturns all of our assumptions up until now.
Is the change really that great? I look forward to hearing it. Well then, this contradiction, why don't you show it to me? With evidence.
Which piece of evidence shows the contradiction that arises? I think it's the autopsy itself, right? Because if we are supposed to have a flawless, perfect autopsy, they said the head wound was post-mortem, but it sounds like she was attacked and then was suffering from a head wound, stumbling away, and then killed later. So this is the autopsy report written by Dr. Young. According to this, the head wound was post-mortem.
But that's not what the raincoat shows.
Exactly. It's the exact opposite.
Bailiff, hurry up, summon Dr. Buddy Young at once. Until we hear what she has to say, we cannot close the curtains on this case.
Yes, ma'am. Understood.